Hey guys, I'm Brady and this is Tyson with Golf Ascending, and today we are doing a review of the Eclipse Training Aid. This thing's pretty cool. If you have a problem with balance and or swaying in your swing, whether it's side to side or back to forward, this training aid could definitely help you. So, forgot to mention, we do create weekly golf content, so if you haven't subscribed yet, do click that little notification bell and subscribe. We'd really appreciate it. But yeah, today, this training aid, we've both tried this out for a little while now. We've tried it at the range, even tried practicing with it at home, and it's pretty cool. And I would say one of the most used tips, I would say, even to like new golfers when you play with someone new, is to keep your head still, right? Keep that there, or keep your head down, as people would say. And this is kind of like a head position monitor. Like, you can see that if you're barely off, if you barely sway, that this training aid, it's gonna tell you what you're doing wrong. So Tyson, tell us a little bit more of your thoughts as you've used this as well.
Yeah, so like Brady said, we've tried this out a couple of times, or I guess a lot of times. You know, we've kind of come up with a little bit of formula of how we like to use it as well. We first tried it out by just putting it in front of us and putting up golf ball there and just trying to hit with it there. That didn't work great. You know, we found it was best used and best worked when you had it in front of you, you kind of concentrated on that Eclipse training aid, and you just took practice swings and you saw your body where it was moving. You know, it didn't necessarily matter if, you know, you made a nice kind of crisp interaction with the turf. It was really just about seeing, where is my body moving? And so after taking, you know, 3 to 5 practice swings, you kind of got that feel of, okay, this is what it's like to be, you know, head positioned really well and to not sway. And so after finding that out, stuck a ball down after kind of creating a little bit of muscle memory and took a shot. And immediately after, it was like, oh, okay, yeah, I can do that. I can keep my head in that position. So that's kind of first impressions that, you know, I really like this thing. I have a tendency to sway a little bit, especially, you know, when I chip, you kind of go back, and when you kind of shift that weight backwards, sometimes the head follows, and this lets you know, hey, there's an eclipse, there's a little crescent moon telling you, nope, you need to eclipse, you need to cover up that whole white.
Yeah, totally. And something that I've seen, and maybe you've seen before, if you ever watched slow-mo videos of Tiger Woods swing, dude, his head is like perfectly in that position. You see his whole body rotate though, and his arms, his legs, but that head, it stays right there. But something I want to mention that, as I've heard a lot of people give advice about, keep your head down the whole time. I don't think that's the best advice, because once you get to the follow through or past impact, if you keep your head there, you're not going to get an effective follow through, and you're going to lose power. But for keeping that position and not swaying, whether it's forward or backwards, through your entire backswing and up until impact, this is pretty awesome for that.
You know, I think another misconception too with the whole keep your head down, I think that's a little bit of a false you know, teaching method. It's really keep your head in the same position. And a lot of people, you know, like what Brady was saying, is they're glued to the ground, in which people naturally keep everything glued to the same position, and they feel like they're a little bit constrained. Well, what's interesting is something that I've kind of been working on. Our friend, golf professional Brian Metzler, he's told me to, you know, rotate back. And what's interesting is with this training aid, you can keep that same head position while twisting and rotating back. You know, your head can still stay in the same position. And so when I found that I was doing that and I was rotating back, keeping in the same position, I was hitting very straight shots. There was no variables or variation, you know, when I was in line with that eclipse. When I was doing those things correctly, I was having good rotation and keeping balance, and the balls were going straight. Mm-hmm. And so I really am a big fan of this. You know, after actually using this on the range with, you know, wedges, irons, woods, because it actually works for all 3 of those, yep, I actually thought, you know what, I think this might work for putting. So stuck it on the ground, and really what it does is it just kind of keeps your head glued, and you just have a little rotation. And so I know there might be some tendencies people have with putting to maybe go back, sway back, and then through. This really just helps you keep just a shoulder rotation, and you keep it there and just look at it, boom, you know, same sort of thing. So those are my thoughts on it. Brady?
Yeah,
have
it
anything
works.
else?
It works a lot with a lot of those things, even down to putting, which is pretty cool that we figured that out. Just keeping you balanced and not swaying. Another thing we wanted to talk about this is it is easy to put away. It's compact. You just take apart the 3 pieces, and there is actually another piece that's even smaller. It's called like the Pro piece, so that it's even harder to not see that white part. So there is another piece that you can add to it, and it does come in this little plastic bag, I guess, with a Ziploc on it, so you can put in there, but it's not as nice as like some products that, you know, come with like a little drawstring bag or something like that. But another thing we want to talk about is the price. This training aid is $50.
Yeah.
$50. So you are paying for the innovation, I would say, because this is a really cool and helpful training aid. But the problem with $50 is that it is just kind of this flimsy plastic. So I don't know. What are your thoughts?
Yeah,
on that?
I mean, if I'm paying $50, I kind of wish that it was sturdy. Maybe it was metal, something like that.
Yeah.
But you know, like Brady said, innovation is
You're paying
there.
for innovation.
You know, what's really cool about it is that like it really does show you and creates that visual that sometimes you don't see when you're just taking practice swings. It really shows you, oh, I am swinging. And so that Eclipse really does help that. So, you know, you kind of understand that innovation is involved there, but you know, maybe a note to the creators of this, maybe in the future make one that's maybe a little bit more sturdy and, you know, worth the $50.
They're probably making really good profit on it though. But anyways, that is our review of the Eclipse Training Aid. Let us know what you think in the comments below, and if you think of getting this as well, and if you do, let us know if it works. We personally like how it's helped us and not swaying, and it's something I actually would like to take to the range quite often. But like this video if you did like it, and make sure to subscribe. Again, we do create weekly golf content, and we will see you next time.